Bengals.
I'm taking the Bengals at home -3. Joe Burrow eats alive the NFC like Lamar Jackson. He's 10-1 with 24 touchdowns and 5 picks. Their last 3 losses, Chiefs, Ravens, and Commanders. Cincinnati's playing well. They're losing close games to good teams. Joe Burrow's absolutely on fire. Leads the NFL with 5 games with multiple touchdown passes and 100-plus passer rating. Jalen Hurts is not hot. They're overvalued. Philly is overvalued. Their back-to-back wins came against the Browns, maybe the worst team in the league, and the Giants. They had 70 yards passing. Jalen Hurts is struggling. Their offense is easily the worst first-quarter offense in the league, so Cincinnati's probably taking a lead and playing with a lead. And their defense doesn't take the ball away. An NFL low 2 takeaways this year. I'm taking comfortable Joe Burrow with a lead at home. Lay the points, 30-23 Bengals.
All right. What do you guys think about that, Philadelphia Eagles fans? I'm not coming up with a prediction for this one, quite frankly, because I do think the Bengals are a good team. I know their record doesn't prove it, but I do think that they're a good team. So I think this game will be a great barometer for the Philadelphia Eagles. I think from my perspective, I'm just looking for the Eagles to be able to show that they belong with the Bengals, quite frankly, to look like that they can go toe-to-toe with them. Because you see that with the Ravens, you saw that with the Chiefs, with the Bengals, and those are 2 top teams, right? So I think that that's important to be able to see if the Eagles can hang with them, especially offensively more than anything. Because it's Joe Burrow, it's Jamar Chase, it's T. Higgins, right? Like they're gonna do, they're gonna get their yards, they're gonna get their touchdowns, right? Like that's, Joe Burrow is a great quarterback. I mean, unbelievable top quarterback in the NFL. So you're not going to just magically be able to just slow that down very easily. So the real question is can the Philadelphia Eagles offense, hang with them? But this is very weird because he says, oh, the Eagles are overvalued. They beat the Giants and they beat the Browns. And it's like, okay, well, let's see who the Bengals beat. They beat the Panthers, who are awful. They beat the Giants only 17-7. The Eagles beat the Giants significantly, but more than that. And they beat the Browns 21-14. So, if we're going to play that game, I'm all for playing that game, but we got to be equal about it. Now, the argument is that the Bengals, like I said, went toe-to-toe with the Ravens as well as the Chiefs, right? 25-26. So, I'm just not so sure. They also lost to the Patriots. So, if we're going to bring that element into the conversation, then we have to do it for both sides. And like I said, I'm all for bringing that in, right? There's a lot of people, and to this day, it seems like every video I make, wherever you talk about it, people are so divided on whether or not it matters who you play. I'm a firm believer in it matters who you play and discussing that as well. But I do find it interesting when you have a mutual opponent who you play. That is interesting, but again, then you have to match up injuries. Which team was more injured at the time? How did each team play? Like, there's a lot of variables rather than just being like, oh, well, they played the same team and this team beat them more than the other team, therefore this team is better, right? Like, it's just another data point from my viewpoint. But I just think, though, like, again, if you're gonna say that the Eagles are overvalued, but like the Eagles beat the Packers, I mean, the Packers are a great team. So name the great team that the Bengals beat. Now, again, they could have beat the Chiefs. They were very close. They had that game won. And same thing with the Ravens. They had that game won too, right? So they could have won both of those games. So that's why I'm saying I do think that the Bengals are a good team. I do think that they are probably a top team. But are they just a top team that are inconsistent? Are they a top team that still let the little things ultimately cause them to lose games? Like, that's, to me, is what's interesting about the Bengals and trying to figure out who the Bengals are as a whole. But so for me, it's just very simple for the Eagles, because the Eagles right now actually have a top defense, but do they have a top defense, like a top ranked defense, mainly because they've been able to beat up on bad teams, right? Like the Browns and the Giants. That definitely will help your ratings, right? Without a doubt. Your rankings, I should say. That will without a doubt. So to figure out who this defense is right now against a great team like the Bengals, that'll be interesting, right? If Joe Burrow torches them and hangs like 40-some points, you would be like, okay, right? On one side, you could be like, well, listen, Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, like, of course, they're great. On the other side, you would be like, okay, this is probably a great offense and probably like not a terrible defense, but a pretty good defense, you know, an average defense, you know, whatever, 15th ranked defense, whatever it may be. But if the defense really causes trouble for Joe Burrow and the Bengals, then that is great moving forward for the Eagles, right? Then it's like kind of more validating and more proof. No, this defense is actually for real. Vic Fangio got this defense going. It took a minute or two to get it going, but they are legit. And that's why it's going to be interesting in this offense, because the Bengals don't really have this great defense as well on their end. And so it's just kind of like, all right, we've seen what the Commanders were able to do. We've seen what the Ravens were able to do. We saw even what the Chiefs were able to do. And the Chiefs don't have this high-powered offense either at the moment. So hanging only 23 points on the Bengals would be pretty problematic, right? That would be more concerning considering what some of these other teams have been able to put up, right? Because like even if we look at it like this, where are we now? Right, even the Bengals were able to, I mean, the Bengals can't score on anyone, and they were able to put up 14 right there. You know, who cares about the Giants? But the Panthers, right? The Panthers hung 24, right? And again, this is not perfect math, right? This is not a perfect science. But if the Panthers were able to put up 24 and the Eagles can only get to 23, that's concerning. Even if it's garbage time, honestly. Like, even if it's garbage time, even if those points got in, you know, when the game was over, and soft coverage, all that type of stuff, you know, prevent defense, it would still be bad. So, you know, ultimately, if you're an Eagles fan and you're looking at this game, of course you want to win, right? Winning is obviously important, but at the end of the day, you want to see, can the defense stand their ground and hold their own at least to a degree with the Bengals, and can their offense get back to what it was? Can Saquon run all day? Can AJ get, you know, over 100 yards and some touchdowns? Can Devontae get integrated? I'm not sure if Dallas Goedert's playing. I'm not up to date with that right now currently, but it's just, you know, can they get that offense going, keep it going, keep it rolling, and prove that, yeah, they beat the Giants, yeah, they beat the Browns, yes, those are bad teams, but that doesn't mean that the Eagles are now overvalued, right? So this is going to be an interesting game. I'm really, really, really excited for this game. Should be a lot of fun. But those are just my thoughts. I'd absolutely love to hear yours. What do you guys all think? Who do you got? The Eagles or the Bengals? Let me know in the comments below. I read every single comment, so whether you agree with me or disagree with me, either way, let's get in some discussions, let's get in some fights, but ultimately, let's just have some fun. And please do consider subscribing. We are building an amazing community here, and I'd absolutely love to see you part of it. I want to build something that we all genuinely feel connected to, something that we're really excited to be part of. I think we're on our way to doing it. And please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, as it really does help with the visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much, and see you next time.